You're welcome to the 10-point series. My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor and founder of the Marriage Seal Academy, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. Every Monday like this, we share 10 points on topical issues in marriage that you can learn from. Today, we're going to be talking about how to get your spouse to agree in 10 points. Point 1. Marriage is an association that requires the highest level of synergy. Yes, marriage is the place that you should have the strongest association between husband and wife. In fact, the way God designed it, marriage is actually supposed to be the strongest human association ever. So you can imagine that strong association will require synergy for it to actually be as strong as it's supposed to be. And when we say synergy, we mean working together in one accord, working together in one pace, working together in agreement. You know, the Bible says, can two work together except they be agreed? And that is what marriage is supposed to be. So it needs a high level of synergy, a high level of togetherness, a high level of agreement. Point 2, many don't know how to get their spouses to actually agree with them. And this is a challenge in marriage. When you can't get your spouse to take your suggestions and agree with whatever it is that you are suggesting, whatever direction you think that your family should go or in a particular aspect of your life, then you are going to have a very, very big problem in marriage. It means that synergy we spoke about at the beginning is not there, and then it will be difficult for both of you to achieve anything great. So a lot of people don't know how to convince their spouses to agree with them, and that's a big problem. It's even a bigger problem because a lot of people don't know that it is a problem. A lot of people just think, well, okay, he doesn't agree, she doesn't agree, I'll just go on with my life. No, it's actually a big problem, and it's hindering you from making the progress you are supposed to make in that marriage. Point 3, remove pride. Pride is that overestimation of self. And a lot of people have a lot of pride, and that will not allow them to do the things that they're supposed to do to make their spouses agree with them. You need to learn to remove pride from your relationship with your spouse. In fact, from your relationship with anybody at all. The more pride you have, the less you are able to collaborate, the less you are able to get to that person's level, the less you are able to synergize. So pride is always a deal breaker when it comes to relationships. And of course, this relationship is the relationship of marriage. So you want to take care of that pride, ensure that your pride doesn't get in the way, and you will be on your way to getting your spouse to agree with you. Point 4, improve your communication. For some of you, the challenge you have is that you do not know how to communicate. The how is the problem. So you speak in manners that your spouse does not like, and so your spouse blanks out even before listening to the actual thing you are asking him or her to agree with. Your attitude, your way of discussing, of conversing with him or her has already thrown him or her off. So everything else that you are saying after that is not being listened to. All that is being thought of by your spouse is the way and manner you have approached that conversation. And this is why I say for every married couple, communication is topmost in your table of needs. In fact, I always say that there are 3 major issues in marriage: communication, finance, and sex. And of these 3, communication is the most important. Because if your communication is good, then you'll be able to talk about finance, you'll be able to talk about sex. And in communication, there is the what to communicate, when to communicate, how to communicate. All this we have put in a course that is called Improving Communication in Marriage. It's a course that you must get. You can get this course on our online store, Marriage Seal Academy, on Seller, or you can reach out to the number that you'll see at the end of this video and get your own course and begin to watch it and begin to learn and improve your communication. I promise you, when your communication improves, your spouse will be ready to listen to you and most likely agree with what you want to say. Point 5, Understand who your spouse is. What's your spouse's personality? Is your spouse choleric? Is your spouse melancholy? Is your spouse sanguine? And so on and so forth. Each characteristic, each temperament type carries its own way of doing things, dealing with things, agreeing with things, seeing things. You want to make sure you understand who your spouse is so that when you are painting the picture of what you want your spouse to agree on, you are able to paint it well according to the way that that personality will take it. The truth of the matter is that no matter how we go round and round, you need to understand the character of your spouse. This will really help you in a lot of issues in your marriage, because sometimes it's just a clash of characters, a clash of temperaments between you and your spouse. And so you feel that this is the way I understand this kind of thing, and this is the way I take this kind of thing. So why can't you take it the same way? No. You need to start looking back, step back, and look again at your spouse and find out what kind of person is this. What does he like? What does she like? What does she dislike? What does he dislike? These things will help you to build up what you want to say in a manner that it will be understood. I am not now saying that your spouse should not also improve in their understanding or their way and be stuck in their ways. No. Of course, everybody should improve himself in a way that there can be synergy. So you do your own part, and then your spouse will follow through and do his or her own part. Point 6. Understand your spouse's love language. A love language is that thing you do or say to your spouse that makes your spouse feel loved. And there are 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. If you don't have that book, get the book, The 5 Love Languages. It will teach you what each love language is about, because your spouse has one that is predominant. And if you're not speaking that love language, then your spouse does not feel loved. So if your spouse doesn't feel loved, then it's not so likely that your spouse will just agree with anything that you bring. In fact, your spouse may feel so dejected that your spouse will intentionally disagree with things, even if those things are right. So you want to speak your spouse's love language, and to do that, you need to first find out what his or her love language is. To find out, you can take the love language quiz, the 5 love languages quiz. You see it online everywhere. Make sure you are doing the one by the official website of the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman, and then do that test. When you do that test, make sure that you answer the questions quickly, because if you take too much time thinking about the answers, most likely you're going to distort the answer, because you're going to say, no, if I answer this way, then it might mean this, and so you now answer the other way. That will probably not give you the right result. But after that test is done, you do your own, let your husband do his own, or your wife do her own, and then you both know the results and you exchange it, and you know, this is my love language, this is your love language. Then begin to speak it to each other. When you do this, it kind of calms the atmosphere for decisions to be taken and agreements to be made. Point 7, learn to concede sometimes. You don't have to win all the time. You know, the problem with winning all the time is that your spouse starts feeling as if he or she is left out. And so even if what you are bringing forward is right, he will just stand against it because you have not learned to concede. There are some things that you can concede for. It's not going to take anything out of you. It's not going to cause problems for your family. It's just 2 different opinions. I want a red car. I want a blue car. Now, the color of the car will not kill anybody, right? You get what I'm saying, right? So choose what your spouse wants for once. And then when you begin to do this, it's going to be easier for your spouse also to relax and listen to you and also agree with you on the things that you want. Point 8. Allow conflicts to be resolved. There are a lot of marriages with a lot of conflicts that are not being resolved. So the conflicts are just being swept under the carpet. And so you have a husband or a wife who is traumatized, angry, upset, and even resentful. And when you have somebody who is resentful, it's going to be difficult for him or her to agree with anything that you are saying. So you want to allow conflicts to be resolved quickly. I'm very particular about this because some spouses don't allow conflicts to be resolved. So even if your spouse has offended you and your spouse wants to come and resolve the conflict with you, some of you just don't agree. You just want it to linger. You are just too angry and you just want things to just explode. No, don't do that. Don't do that to your marriage, because every time you allow conflicts to linger, you are kind of damaging your marital relationship little by little. So you want to ensure that your conflicts don't linger. Resolve them as quickly as possible. And if you don't know how to resolve them, then that means you didn't learn the skills of conflict resolution before you got married. So there is a course of resolving conflicts in marriage. That course is also online. You can also get it online and watch the videos of that course and learn how to actually resolve conflicts effectively and conclusively in your marriage. When you learn this, then you will be able to take care of all the conflicts that are outstanding and make sure new ones that come, you resolve them quickly. That will help in agreement in your marriage. Point 9, learn to say thank you. A simple appreciation of thank you can go a long way in making your spouse open to your suggestions. If you don't say thank you when your spouse has done something for you, then your spouse is going to feel unloved, will feel unfulfilled, and will feel unappreciated. So you want to say thank you to your spouse as much as you can for every little thing, and this will go a long way in allowing your spouse to also listen to you when you are talking to him or her. Finally, point 10, pray to God. Ask God to help your husband, to help your wife to understand what you are saying and agree with you. You know, the word of God says in the Bible, the heart of kings is in the hands of God, and like rivers of water, he turneth them whither he will. So God is able to actually turn the heart of your spouse towards you if you want him to. So you want to pray to God the Almighty, who is the creator of all humans, for him to help you when you want your spouse to agree with you. Of course, it's very important at this point to state that that thing you want your spouse to agree with you, you need to be sure it is according to God's will. So don't bring things that are not according to God's will and you want your spouse to agree with you. Your spouse will not agree with you. In fact, your spouse may be saving you if it's such a thing. But bring things that are according to the will of God, and your spouse will definitely answer you as you pray to God. That's where we come to the end of the 10-point series today. I hope you grabbed something today. And hey, do you know of the course that is coming up? Watch the next video and get more information about it. Please enjoy. Every day, I get people reaching out to me with their frustrations in their marriage. And as marriage counselor, I get to sit down with them in counseling sessions and listen to them. When I listen to them, I find out that a lot of the issues that they have actually stem from the bedroom. And yes, the bedroom is supposed to be a place where life is supposed to come out in a marriage. However, for so many people, they are so frustrated in the bedroom that it affects everything else. In fact, you may have issues with your spouse and your spouse is not talking to you. It may be from the bedroom. You see people getting aggressive to each other, husbands flying off the handle on little things that should not actually cause them to even whisper, but they shout because they are frustrated in the bedroom. Wives refusing to attend to things that they should attend to because their husbands have frustrated them in the bedroom. Hi, my name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor and founder of the Marriage Seal Academy. And at the Academy, we have the solution to this problem of yours. We are going to be able to help you to renew the fire in the bedroom. We will help you to make sure there is fun. We'll help you to make sure you enjoy it. We'll help you to make sure there is renewal in the bedroom. Now, you want to get more details about that, reach out to the number that you have on your screen. Read the comment section and get the details of what we have that is coming up that will help to change everything that happens in your bedroom and make it better for you and your spouse.